Bible's most dangerous question. Who came before Adam? The Bible, a sacred text revered by millions, has long been a foundation of religious belief and cultural history. It provides narratives, teachings, and revelations that have shaped human civilization for thousands of years. But within this ancient book, there are questions that have remained unanswered, leaving believers and scholars alike pondering the mysteries hidden between its verses. One of the most intriguing and perhaps most dangerous questions that arises when one closely examines the Bible is, who came before Adam? This question challenges the conventional understanding of creation and raises profound implications for our understanding of both the Bible and the world. In this video, we will delve deep into this question, exploring the many angles it presents, the potential answers, and the reason why such a question is not only dangerous, but potentially transformational in how we perceive the biblical narrative. We'll journey through history, theology, and even science to understand the implications of asking this question and its potential to reshape beliefs about the beginning of humanity. The Genesis account, a brief overview. The story of Adam and Eve, the first human beings according to the Bible, is found in the book of Genesis. Genesis tells us that God created the heavens and the earth, and in the Garden of Eden, he created Adam from the dust of the ground, followed by Eve, who was formed from one of Adam's ribs. This is the foundational narrative for the Judeo-Christian understanding of the origins of humanity. In the Christian tradition, Adam and Eve are considered the progenitors of all human beings, marking the start of the human race. According to this view, there were no human beings before Adam and Eve. God created them, and from them all humanity descended. This narrative has been the dominant interpretation of the Genesis creation story for centuries. It forms the core of many theological doctrines, including the concept of original sin, human nature, and the fall of man. However, this explanation of human origins has been increasingly challenged both within religious circles and from scientific disciplines like anthropology, archaeology, and evolutionary biology. So when we ask the question, who came before Adam, we are pushing the boundaries of conventional religious thought. This question confronts us with deeper layers of theology, history, and even cosmology. The traditional Christian view: no one before Adam. For many Christians, the idea that there was anything or anyone before Adam is unthinkable. The Bible, in its literal form, seems to support the notion that Adam was the first human being. Genesis 1:26-27 and 2:7 describe God's creation of Adam, which is interpreted by many as the definitive moment of human creation. Adam and Eve are central to the Christian understanding of original sin. The fall of Adam and Eve from grace is seen as the moment that brought sin into the world, and this event is understood as foundational to Christian soteriology, or the doctrine of salvation. To question who or what existed before Adam is for many a theological and doctrinal challenge that threatens the entire framework of Christian thought. But could there be a possibility that the traditional view is not the full story? Could the Bible be suggesting something deeper, more complex, or perhaps different than what has been traditionally understood? Ancient texts and hidden meanings. Some theologians and biblical scholars have speculated that the Genesis account may not be as straightforward as it seems. In fact, there are ancient Jewish writings and texts that suggest there may have been other beings before Adam, though these ideas have largely been excluded from mainstream Christian thought. For example, the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text that is not part of the canonical Bible, describes a creation narrative that involves other beings, such as angels and giants, existing before the creation of Adam and Eve. While the Book of Enoch is not accepted as scripture by most Christian denominations, it reflects early Jewish beliefs that are far more complex than the simple creation story found in Genesis. The apocryphal and deuterocanonical books, texts that are considered sacred in certain Christian traditions but are not included in the Protestant Bible, also offer some alternate perspectives on the creation story. Some of these texts describe beings who existed before the creation of humanity, hinting at a more expansive cosmology that involves other realms, beings, and even civilizations. The question, who came before Adam, is dangerous not because it challenges a single verse in Genesis, but because it strikes at the heart of how we understand the nature of creation, sin, and human existence. If we entertain the possibility that there were beings, civilizations, or even worlds before Adam, it would radically alter our understanding of the Bible and humanity's place in the grand narrative of existence. For traditionalists, this question is deeply unsettling because it suggests that the Genesis creation story may not be a literal chronological account of human origins. It raises the possibility of ancient histories or unknown creatures coexisting with God's creation. The implications are far-reaching. If humanity is not the first creation, then what does that say about God's creative power? How do we reconcile the existence of prior beings with the idea of original sin? Can there be an explanation that preserves the theological core of Christianity while acknowledging other entities before Adam? This question forces believers to confront the limitations of human understanding. For many, the very idea that there were beings before Adam is seen as an affront to the supremacy of God's creation, or worse, a challenge to the divine order. Theories about pre-Adamic beings. Several theories have emerged over the centuries, each attempting to answer the question of who or what came before Adam. Let's explore some of these ideas. The gap theory. One of the most popular explanations is the gap theory, which posits that there was a long, undisclosed period between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. According to this view, God created a perfect world in Genesis 1:1, but between the creation of the heavens and the earth and the description of the earth being without form and void in Genesis 1:2, something catastrophic occurred. This theory suggests that a pre-Adamic race, often interpreted as a race of angels, possibly the ones who fell with Lucifer, inhabited the earth before humanity's creation. According to this view, the pre-Adamic period explains the apparent age of the earth and the fossils found in its layers, which seem to suggest a much older world than the Genesis narrative might imply. The pre-Adamic human theory. Some theologians suggest that humans or humanoid beings could have existed before Adam, potentially in a different form or under different circumstances. These beings, while not the same as Adam and Eve, might have been part of God's creation plan in a kind of parallel history before humanity's emergence. They could be angels or even other creatures that had a role in God's cosmic plan. The evolutionary view. From a more scientific perspective, the question of who came before Adam intersects with evolutionary theory. Many scientists argue that a concept of a single first human is an oversimplification, and instead, human beings evolved over millions of years from a common ancestor with other primates. This theory conflicts with a literal reading of the Genesis creation story, but it suggests that humanity's origins are far more complex than any single individual, such as Adam. Evolutionary theory doesn't deny the possibility of an early human ancestor. It simply challenges the notion that one individual could be the literal first human. Theological speculations. Some theologians have ventured into speculative realms, imagining a world populated by other intelligent beings that were not human, but perhaps similar in some respects to Adam and Eve. These beings could be part of God's broader creation plan, existing in a kind of parallel history before humanity's emergence. They could be angels or even other creatures that had a role in God's cosmic plan. Why the question is dangerous. As we have seen, the question, who came before Adam, is not just a theological puzzle. It is a profound challenge to the way we understand our place in the universe. The very act of questioning the traditional narrative has the potential to unravel centuries of religious teaching and doctrine. This question is dangerous because it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our understanding of God's creation. It requires us to wrestle with the limitations of human knowledge and the complexities of ancient texts. It could undermine our sense of certainty about the Bible, the nature of sin, and even the purpose of human life. Yet, at the same time, this question offers an opportunity. It invites us to explore the richness of the biblical narrative, to look beyond the surface of the creation account and into the deeper meanings and mysteries that lie within. It challenges us to embrace the complexity of the universe, to acknowledge that there may be more to our origins than we have previously understood. The Bible's most dangerous question, who came before Adam, challenges the very foundation of our beliefs about creation and human origins. While this question may seem unsettling or controversial, it offers an opportunity for deeper exploration and understanding. By asking this question, we can uncover new insights into the nature of existence, the vastness of God's creation, and the complexities of the biblical narrative. Whether we approach this question from a theological, historical, or scientific perspective, we're confronted with the mystery of our origins. And in that mystery, we are invited to continue seeking, questioning, and growing in our understanding of the divine. The answers to this question may never be fully revealed, but the journey to explore it is one that can deepen our faith, broaden our perspectives, and perhaps even bring us closer to the truth of who we are and where we came from. If you found this video insightful or enlightening, please don't forget to like and share it so more people can be inspired and join the conversation. And of course, to stay updated on more fascinating videos about spirituality, history, and knowledge, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our latest content. Let's keep learning and growing together. Feel free to drop a comment below if you have thoughts or questions about this topic. See you in the next video.